Hello, my name is Jenna Mendez, and I am going to discuss my research articles that I did for J202. My first article consists of comparing different treatment groups for women in prison. The treatment groups that were compared was an original TC program that was originally made for men, seeing that men dominated the prison population in the past. And the TC program focused on giving a better outlook to inmates. It focused on different types of organization groups to help individuals stay clean. The GRT, which stands for Gender Responsive Treatment Program, was a program that was specifically made for women, and it focused on women's psychological development and women's needs. It focused on the self, which was to be aware of oneself. It focused on relationship model, which is a woman's role within their family and within other relationships. Focus on a spirituality model, which is being able to connect with your spirituality with prayer and meditation, and to help yourself become to a wholeness. And it also had sexuality model, which is the connection between addiction and sexuality. This study was conducted to find results if there was actually a difference in the outcomes and the treatments of the women if they were placed into the GRT program or the TC program. And overall, the women that were placed in the GRT program did have better outcomes. They had a much higher rate of not being reincarcerated after so many months of parole. They also had better stability with employment, and they also had better outlooks on being a parent if they bared children. They had a better relationship with their children as well. So we can see here in these research articles that making a program basically on women does have better outcomes. So in this study, they did take 115 different women and they randomized them into the two different groups, the TC group and the GRT group. And overall, the outcomes were that the GRT group did have better outcomes. Now, my other article that I'm going to discuss is about methadone and Barafine and how widely used and accepted it is throughout the United States and different prison systems. It's very, very slightly used. It was approved in 2004, and since then it's been used just a very little bit more each year, but not very much, not a drastic change. It's mostly used for acute opiate withdrawal and for pregnant women that have been using methadone, because it could harm their baby if they automatically stop using the drug. It could almost kill the baby. So that's what it's mostly used for. There's an estimate between 1,614 to 1,814 people that add around 55% of different prisons and all federal and state prisons that actually use methadone or Barafine. Methadone is much more widely used than Barafine, and the pharmacological practices of this research is that instead of forcing the prisoners and inmates to be detoxed and a drug detoxification occurs throughout the prison population, to have certain people that are addicted to these drugs to use pharmacological treatment, which would be to slowly get them off of it or to slowly give them doses of the drugs to better help them in recovery. When you force detoxification among prisoners, the likelihood of them relapsing and ending up back in prison within the first 12 months of parole is very high. And this research really was focusing on policy directors and prison leaders on how they felt about the use of pharmacological treatment and if they preferred it. And there's a lot of good outcomes to it. The research does show that they're less likely to relapse, drug overdose, get HIV, HPV, I mean, it just changes the whole area of the drug. If you are going to a clean place that you're allowed to go and get your drug to help you become clean, you're going to be less likely to get in trouble again. And these people are also able to stay employed longer and just have a higher chance of not relapsing and ending back in prison. So that's all I have for today, and I thank you for your time, and I hope you learned a little from my research.